Hey guys, so Realme released its first number series phone for 2022, the Realme 9i, about a month ago. Today, they have followed it up with the relatively more premium Realme 9 Pro and the Realme 9 Pro Plus. And in this video, I will be talking about the 9 Pro Plus. This will be more like my early impressions or a mini review of sorts, since I only have been using it for a day now. At the time of filming this video, I am also not quite sure about its pricing, but it should be somewhere between the Xiaomi 11i and the 11i Hypercharge. Right off the bat, the Realme 9 Pro Plus is quite similar to the 11i Hypercharge in terms of the overall specs, so it's going to be interesting to see how these phones fare against each other. Therefore, you will definitely want to get subscribed to our channel so that you don't miss out on the full comparison video. Anyway, let's quickly unbox this phone now. Here, as you can see, it comes with standard packaging, which sadly includes a plastic wrapping. Opening up the box, we are first greeted with the phone itself. I have the Aurora green color variant, while it is also available in midnight black and sunrise blue color options. Interestingly, the sunrise blue variant even has something called a light shift design, where the phone transforms from light blue to red under direct sunlight. It's similar to the color changing back from the Vivo V23 Pro. Anyway, like other Realme phones, you also get a pre-applied screen protector on the display. We also have some paperwork here and a transparent back cover. Finally, there's a 65-watt Super Dad charging brick and a Type A to Type C cable. Alright, with that out of the way, let me talk about the phone itself. If you roll back a year, the Realme 8 Pro was heavily criticized for being a not so good value for money product, especially at a time when Xiaomi released its blockbuster phone, the Redmi Note 10 Pro Max. But I genuinely think that the company has made a comeback with the Realme 9 Pro Plus, and it looks quite promising for Realme. Alright, so starting off with the things I have liked about it, the first thing that comes to my mind is the design. I have always been a fan of the compact form factor on Realme phones, and courtesy of its relatively smaller 6.43-inch screen, that trend follows with the Realme 9 Pro Plus as well. As a result, it does not feel too heavy or too wide to use. Plus, Realme also has included a glass back here, which I think is a first for the number series. If you remember, we are kind of used to seeing plastic bags on Realme's budget and mid-range phones. So this is some quality of life improvement that I actually appreciate. And because of this glass bag, it feels much more premium than, say, last year's Realme 8 Pro. Plus, it looks like Realme has finally learned its lesson against including the big Dare to Leap branding at the back. And here, there's only a subtle Realme logo on the bottom left. On the other hand, you might find this glossy back panel with reflective shimmering glitters attractive, but I would have preferred a matte finish instead. The frames are still plastic, but the slight curves on the back help with the grip a lot. In my 24 hours of use, I've also liked its weight distribution and the minimal thickness, which according to Realme is the lowest ever in the number series. Okay, up front, the Realme 9 Pro Plus features a Gorilla Glass 5 protected AMOLED screen with a 20:9 Full HD resolution and 90Hz refresh rate. As expected, it comes with Wideband L1 certification alongside HDR10 Plus support. I have watched a couple of YouTube and Netflix videos so far without coming across any issues with HDR processing, contrast levels, or even brightness. Realme says that this display has a maximum brightness of 600 nits, which is a tad bit lower considering today's standard, although I found its brightness to be adequate enough under a bright ambience. Complementing the display are the dual stereo speakers with Dolby Atmos and high-res audio support. They can get quite loud, and the overall sound quality is pretty good as well. This screen also brings a 360Hz dot sampling rate, but it does not feel as responsive when I'm typing and such. It seems like the phone enables the full 360Hz dot sampling rate for certain games like PUBG Mobile only. But what's certainly not inferior is the in-display optical fingerprint sensor. It's incredibly fast, and thanks to the phone's overall compact form factor, unlocking with one hand is a lot easier as well. Additionally, this fingerprint sensor can even be used to monitor your heart rate. All you have to do is go to Realme Labs, then heart rate measurement, and then place your finger on the fingerprint sensor for 15 seconds. I compared its measurement against my Apple Watch Series 7 and the results were quite similar. But I would have preferred a standalone app for it though. Now, talking about apps, the company has included a lot of bloatware apps here. Luckily, most of them can be uninstalled. Okay, performance-wise, you get MediaTek's latest Dimensity 920 chipset along with up to 8 GB of DDR4X RAM and up to 256 GB of UFS 2.2 storage. We have seen the same configuration in Xiaomi 11i Hypercharge as well, so you can expect similar performance between these phones. I played PUBG Mobile on the Realme 9 Pro Plus for a few minutes where it could hit a stable 40 FPS under HDR graphics and ultra frame rates. Likewise, you can lower the graphics to smooth and frame rates to extreme to enjoy a smoother 60 FPS gameplay. However, the limitation with a mid-tier chipset like Dimensity 920 is reflected well on more graphic-hungry games like Genshin Impact, where I noticed slight lags at the highest of settings. Hence, I had to keep it at 30 FPS for a stable gameplay. So if you're more into gaming, I would suggest you get Snapdragon 870 powered phones like the Mi 11X, the Poco F3 or the iQOO 7 at more or less the same price as this phone. As for thermals, Realme says that it has used a vapor chamber cooling system on the 9 Pro Plus, which significantly reduces the temperature and keeps the phone in a high performance state for a longer period. However, because it is so compact and thin, I have faced some heating issues here. Be it gaming for more than 10 minutes or charging this phone, the phone is slightly vulnerable to heat. In my throttling test, the CPU throttled to 94% in 15 minutes and 91% after 30 minutes. On the contrary, the Xiaomi 11i Hypercharge with the same Dimensity 920 processor did not throttle at all. In Realme's defense, it does have a better GIPS, that is higher performance. So what Realme is doing here is offering better performance at the expense of greater heat dissipation. Moving on, the biggest competitive advantage for the Realme 9 Pro Plus seems to be its cameras. Here, the company has included a 50-megapixel Sony IMX766 sensor with OIS, which is present in much more expensive phones like the OnePlus 9RT and the Oppo Reno 7 Pro. Likewise, you also get an 8-megapixel ultra-wide-angle lens and a 2-megapixel macro camera. I haven't had the chance to click too many photos, but with OIS on board, the Realme 9 Pro Plus can capture photos with better sharpness and details than the Xiaomi 11i Hypercharge. Even in terms of dynamic range, highlights and exposure control, in most images that I have clicked, the ones from Realme are fuller and superior. The portraits look very good on the Realme 9 Pro Plus as well. It maintains a good skin tone and the background looks nice too. It seems to me that they have taken a slight inspiration from the Pixel phones when it comes to portraits. For nighttime photography, I roamed the streets of Kathmandu to click photos of temples and stupas, and they looked good for the price too. All in all, the Realme 9 Pro Plus feels like a good camera phone for the price, but I will be running it through more tests to give you a solid verdict. Alright, so in terms of videos, the resolution option here ranges from 720p, 1080p to 4K, although all of them are locked at 30 FPS only, meaning that there is no 60 FPS option here. And it looks like Realme has disabled OIS at 4K resolution since the 4K 30 FPS footages are not the most stable. However, as you can see, the 1080p 30 FPS videos have good stabilization. About the selfie videos, well, unfortunately, you can only shoot at 1080p 30 FPS resolution and nothing more. The field of view is quite wide, so that's nice. The exposure control in the background also looks good. So overall, the quality is, I would say, good enough. Finally, talking about the battery, the Realme 9 Pro Plus comes with a modest 4500 mAh cell that supports 60 watt fast charging. Since it has lived in my pockets for just about a day now, I haven't had the chance to test its endurance properly. Anyway, Realme says you can expect its battery to go from 0 to 100% in 44 minutes with the onboard charger, which is not that fast compared to the competition, but it's not a deal breaker in any way. So guys, that was it for my quick unboxing and initial impressions of the Realme 9 Pro Plus. It looks like a good package overall, but before you go ahead and order one for yourself, make sure to check out reviews from other reliable sources too. I will also be coming up with its side-by-side comparison against the Xiaomi 11i Hypercharged besides the individual review itself, so watch out for that. Till then, I am Pratima and I will see you in my